Computer. Lights. Hey guys, and happy Monday. Trying to adjust all of my widgets, woodly wops, and beeps and bobbles because I have lots of buttons. All right. It is time for us to do springs today. So I'm doing all of my normal maintenance here for everything. It is the 20th week of the year. Who knew, huh? 21st week. I'm sorry, 21st week of the year. We are 21 weeks into 2021. I think that's funny. I don't know why I think that's funny. So, checking our today's schedule, should be noted that this week I may be late for a couple of these days because I've got to take my niece to school. And so I'll take her to school, and that'll be cool. That rhymed. That totally rhymed. I also have a lunch meeting with good old Nate with Geekway Homes on tomorrow. So we'll have to make sure we clear tomorrow in time, which shouldn't be a problem. It looks like, looking at everything else looks perfectly normal this week. Next week, though, next week's the end of school for a whole bunch of people. I'm going to end up with a short guy around here all the time. So that'll be a thing. All right. So loosen up the joints, get everything ready to go. We're going to work on a Springs comic today. I need to bring the music up to it. Betcha minus 40 sounds good. Because I should be at minus 6 or 7 whenever I talk. That should be where you should hear me. I messed with all of my controls, and I really shouldn't have. Everything's all static and ready to go, and there I am messing with all my controls and then making my life more complicated when things continue. So, I don't know. I just work here. Okay. Let's go over to the monitor. Here's where we are on the monitor. So, we're going to be working on comic number 245 this week. So, like usual, let's go ahead and kill off this 239 because, sadly, I can't edit that because I had made it in what is it called? Photoshop. So, this is number 245. I'm going to select it, bring it up in a couple of sizes to make sure it matches. So that's at 11 point. Hit OK. We'll kill you. Work. And we'll go fetch 245. No! We'll go fetch 245 and put him right here. There we go. There. Then we're going to work today on our good old springs. So let's go down here to our panel line. This will ultimately be our ink layer over here. So it's kind of hard to see because my faces covering it. But I've added a layer on top of it right under here. So it's right there. Anyway, that added a layer underneath this panel. We'll go ahead and put that in so that's underneath this, and this will be my blue line. And all I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take and go to blue. Any color is fine. It really doesn't matter. If you prefer to do purple or prefer to do green or red, it doesn't matter. I just usually like to do the underdrawing in a different color so that when you ink in black, it's clear what's ink and what's not. So it doesn't matter what color it is. Being a traditional comic artist, I tend to just do light blue because that's what we do. And there's really no rhyme or reason. I also happen to like the color blue. So there's that. So last week, I had sort of implied that Mike is a comic artist to some degree, or does something creative, writing, drawing, something on deadlines. And it sort of has resonated a little bit with me. That seems to be appropriate. I don't know how much you guys have stuck with me over the years, but all of the various characters in Springs, all of these guys represent some aspect of either me or my life. For example, Sancho here represents obviously George to some degree. So every time George does something bizarre, I can interact with Don Q and Sancho, and I become Don Q and Sancho becomes George. And that makes it a little funnier. TB is me as a child and has always been me as maybe not a child per se, but sort of that teenager, late tweens, the tweens teenager era when I was like, yes, I know everything. Wait, I didn't know that. So he kind of represents that. Mike represents me in my 20s or so, and her world is sort of that kind of thing where you're just entering into the world and you're like, I got this, I don't got this. So Mike has always been sort of that way for me. Don Q is me kind of more now, in a way, because he's getting wiser, getting smarter, figuring out the world, but he still has sort of issues. And then Martha is me in about 10 or 15 years. She's already pretty wise. She's got it under control, and things like that. RC over here is the Adam Savage that's in me. And I know that there's an Adam Savage just sitting inside me somewhere in my soul, just waiting to get out and experiment with something and invariably blowing it up. Oracle up here is really even past Martha. Like me in my 90s, me in my hundreds, way past when I'm too old to move, too old to go anywhere, and it's just that way. AR is me as a little teeny child, like in my 5 to 10 years when I was really, really young. When I was angry at games because games did stupid stuff. And you're like, that's part of the game. And I'm like, I don't care. I just want to be mad about it. And that kind of stuff. That's sort of the world he lives. Io is, there was an aspect of me for a while in my 20s where I was very brazen, and very, like, I don't know how to explain it, but like I was very sure that it was not my fault. And I'm kind of, as a personality trait I had, which was that it was always somebody else's fault. It was always something else going on. It was never me that was to blame. And I'm kind of turning it on its head and making it funny. And then, of course, Sad Battery hangs out with Io as sort of a representation of all of my friends who just pretty much went, every time I did something dumb like that. I haven't figured out where Charles is on these things. I mean, Charles is a sight gag. And I'm not 100% sure that I know what he does and what aspect of me he is. And then Rover here, Rover is like, he's my kind of frustration with life, I guess. Not frustration with life, interface with life. Does that make any sense? Because, like, Rover is physical comedy most of the time, but he's also like blissfully happy. He's just perfectly okay. He's fine. He's good. Even if he's climbing up the side of a mountain and just falling over, he's good. He's fine. He's fine. It's like it's all part of the exploration thing, right? We're just out there doing what we can, you know? So all of these guys represent some aspect here, with the possible exception of Charles, which makes me think I've got to deal with Charles somehow. But it's also why I haven't had that many comic strips with Charles. He doesn't represent anything. He doesn't talk to me, really. He just sits there and observes. And maybe that's the aspect. Maybe that's where he is. He's the observer. I like to people watch. I like to see how other people respond. And so maybe that's what he plays. That's the part he plays in my world. I don't know. Anyway, so those are really, that's what these guys are, right? These guys are all some aspect of me. Some days I have old days and these guys talk, you know. Some days, no, you know what? That's what it needs to be. It needs to be Martha. So we'll start with our wonderful and talented. This brush is way too big. It needs to be 18. 18. We'll undo. We'll start with our wonderful and talented TB, who interfaces funny with people and is just observing things, right? And AR, as they walk along, and then we'll have the houses in Springs World are always like igloos to me, and for some reason I don't know why, but they're like the weirdest little igloos, and I very rarely show them, but this is exactly the way I perceive all of the houses in Springs World to be, as like little igloos, except with like antenna dishes. They look like something out of Star Wars, right? Right? And we have, you know, bang, which my pen is running really slow today on response. And crack. Roan. Right? And we'll have our guys here, right? It doesn't need to be this big, so we can, that's the wonderful thing about doing this in blue line. I can now shrink it down a little. Right? And we'll have these guys moved out over here so that you could see them there. And we'll just complete the arcs on things. So that there's, this. Right? Worried. Show this is part of that igloo house. Martha. Are you okay? Right. And then Martha. I'm going to do this right. Martha opens the door. Right. Hey there, Raph. How you doing, man? Good to see you, bro. I am drawing springs because it's Springs Monday. You missed me breaking down my characters. I was totally like realizing that I don't have anything for poor Charles here. This guy right here. Like everybody else is an aspect of me in some way or another, either an aspect of my personality or an aspect of some way I interface with life. But I realized that Charles really doesn't have, like, I don't know. He's not part of my world. I don't get it. I don't know. I'm just thinking about it. Anyway. So we'll go through here. We'll put this. How you doing today, though? Just woke up. Mm-hmm. There's that. We'll have her door like this so she can actually have her hand on the knob of the door because she opened the door, So you want to kind of have that physicality. Okay, we'll kind of. Oh man, really? Oh, nice. Just delete the whole thing. That sounds like a plan. I won't even remember where the heck we were. So, just woke up. You drawing already? Make sure we get to work. We do our stuff for the day. Feel like there we go. Ooh, you're drawing Venom. You want to pop on and draw or with me? Because you can. We're just doing springs over here. I am more than willing to give you a link and you can just hop in if you're up for it. Depends on whether you're up for it. It's okay if you're not. I'm okay with that. You can just hang with me on here if you want. Sure. Let me give you a link. Hang on real quick. Do invite guests. Give you link. Yep, you get trumpet noises. Okay, well, it's taken frickin' forever to get Facebook loaded these days. I have too many widgets running on Facebook, I feel like. So it's a ting. You were both running butterflies as your doodly wops, as your logos, you and your wife. So I'm like, I'm confused as to which, because I'm visual. I'm a visual dude. So I'm like, I don't know which black and red butterfly to click on. Oh my God. That's all right. Okay, now you can join me. I sent you a link. We can chat this morning and have a good morning and hang and draw. Draw! Because drawing is important. I'm just saying. Drawing is life. I mean that too, actually. Okay, there you are. I'm bringing you in. I'm bringing you in. You're in.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I'll turn my music down just a hair so I can hear you. Oh, wait, that's not going to change anything. I need to do this here. Doodly, 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 doodly. Otherwise, I will never hear you. How you doing this morning?
Oh, okay. Just woke up.
Just woke up. You know, actually, I woke up, took my kid to school, and then I got back here and did this.
Nice.
So I did get a little bit of exercise time in, though, which was good. I got to start exercising more. I am not doing good these days. I'm feeling my age.
Yeah, I can agree with that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
On your end, not mine.
Yeah, that I feel my age, right. I get that. You are consistent, my friend. You are consistent.
It is starting to catch up to me. I felt it yesterday for sure.
Oh, yeah. Man. We do not get younger, do we?
Nope. We just get prettier.
That's it. That's it, bro. We get prettier. All right. I am putting in my text. I don't think I'm at the right size. I think it's 18. No, it's 25. Good heavens. My master pages here don't tell me what size my text is supposed to be. That's irritating. It's the one thing I didn't put on here. I put everything else on these pages. But it didn't tell me what size my text should be.
I need to go with, I think, 9 or 10 when I do mine.
Do you work at 600 DPI?
Yes.
And you've still managed to pull it off at 9 or 10? Wow, that's really small.
I believe so.
Okay. I mean, it's total. I believe you. In the world?
Christina's alarm.
The what?
Christina's alarm.
Oh. All I hear is what sounds like accordions because of the distortion through the microphone.
Close. Horns.
Yeah, the horns sound like an accordion. You know, that's all I get. I am sure that's not what it sounds like in real life, but boy, it's funny sometimes what happens when you have something playing on a speaker going into a microphone and then out another speaker. I really felt this one this morning, so I decided to go on ahead and make a comic of it.
What is it?
That I'm feeling creaky this morning. I got up and like everything popped and groaned, and I was like, really? This is the way it's going to be. So I guess it's 16 is what I'm supposed to be at. 16.
Ah, okay.
That's the size.
You're working on clip, right?
Yeah. I am trying to get better with Clip Studio and doing all of my comic work directly out of Clip Studio Paint because it is better than Photoshop for the not just better than in general, but also better, you know, as far as it's designed to make manga.
Yeah.
And I have EX. And so I've got the ability to lay the entire thing out. You know what I mean? So, and I bought it. I own it. I own this copy, which is my big thing that I'm really mad about Photoshop about, you know, of course, or charging me an arm and a leg and my firstborn child just to use their product. And I find that to be offensive. So,
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Although I do find myself going back and forth sometimes because there's some things Photoshop will do.
yeah. Well, that's the problem is that I'm trying to figure out how to get everything to do that I need to do here so I don't have to go back to Photoshop. But it's a learning process, and text is the one thing that Photoshop just still kicks Clip Studio's butt on.
Mine is a guide setup.
Yeah,
I have to go to Photoshop to do that.
I could see that.
Yeah, because I can tell it exactly where to go. Clip, I can't do that. At least not that I've...
Yeah, I already built like for my strip at least. All of the frames are done. You know, like I did all these frames years ago, and I just used the same frame over and over and over again. And I've set up panels so that every possible combination of panel is in here. Like I've got a 1+3, so it's one panel and then a 3-panel wide second panel, and then a 3+1, which is a 3-panel wide one with 1 panel on the right, and then just one whole panel, 2 panels, 3 panels, and 4 panels. And since it's a 4-panel comic layout, generally, I won't ever have 5 panels, you know. So as long as I've got all of those, I can just select one of those and I put them in a folder, you know, so I can just pick one and then start my comic out of it. But when it comes to the actual page layout, if you can get over the weirdness of it, Clip Studio really does have an advantage over Photoshop for paneling.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, it puts each panel in its own folder. So you can just throw anything in there, throw the backgrounds in there, and the backgrounds can be huge, and it won't matter. It'll clip it into that panel. All of your color stays in that panel. It's really nice. So
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not doing a a strip like you do, so I have to make my panels every time. At least right
Well,
now.
that's what I'm saying is panel work. When I do my panels we should talk whenever I get to my paneling for Bellatrix, because Bellatrix is more like Pia. I mean, it's a traditional comic like Pia. So, I mean, right now I'm doing my strip, but tomorrow I'll be working on Bellatrix, but I don't think I have a page ready yet. So there's that. I'm not bitter. Anyway. When I'm working on my strip, though, it's a different story. I just like the fact that we are production artists. This is what we do. I like the fact that you and I both got up and just started drawing. Because drawing is life.
Don't usually. Coda is usually awake with me.
Right? Well, that's kids first. I think that's like the rule. So, do. So yeah, my wife was in Oregon. She came back yesterday. And my kid and I worked really hard to clean the house, so the house is now all clean. And she was shocked. It was great. Because we've been kind of, COVID, I don't know what you call it, but sort of that depression that hits that we've all been in with COVID.
Yeah.
Where we're just not doing anything. We're not going anywhere, and the house just sort of deteriorated. And recently we've been doing a lot more work outside to try to get the outside of the house sort of squared away. And so
I think that's good. Oops.
I find it kind of funny that you sometimes cross your fingers when you erase. I do it. That's why I'm finding it funny. It's because I do that too. I'll put my fingers down and then I'll cross them when I press down.
What's funny is I'm not crossing down, I'm crossing up, so my finger's not even touching the paper.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean, is so that you don't accidentally. I just have this. I mean, you're not doing it now, but before you were doing it where you were crossing your fingers, and I was like, it's funny how we all sort of just evolve to the right way to do stuff.
Yeah.
Nobody teaches us this stuff, which is kind of one of the things I've always thought would be useful, is to teach people these things.
Oh, this marker paper is thin.
Yeah. You're also rolling your gum eraser. That's interesting.
Well, it'll pick up the graphite, so it's not so thick, so I don't have to worry about smearing.
I just never thought of it. I always rub the eraser, which of course does what you just did to your paper, which is bend it, and then get aggravated and annoyed with it. It was the paper's fault. And blame the paper.
I have done that.
Yep. I did when I was playing my D&D game, because I always draw when I play D&D, and I drew this picture of my main character in a spacesuit with this X-shaped backpack on so that she can maneuver. And I thought, what would be really cool is if you had some kind of space ball. The whole point is to like get the ball through the hoop or something like that, but you've got everybody in 0G. so it's like really difficult. And I was thinking, but I'm like, that's going to happen. There's totally going to be a space ball of some sort.
I remember watching an animated movie where they did that. Can't remember what it was though.
Yeah, but that just seemed, well, I can't either. I'm sure, I can't imagine I am the first person on this planet to think about that. So, I mean, that doesn't even seem, there's no way. So, but I'm going to probably tomorrow invent a sports ball of some sort for my comic. I was reading somewhere that when you build a world, you want to build like a little bit of everything. You don't have to go into absolute detail, but like build a rock group and build a sports team and build a musician set or whatever, build all the aspects of the culture, just a little bit of it, because then you can reference it and it gives it flesh and it gives it reality that there's a world here. But you don't have to go into, all 27 of the top artists on the top 20 chart. You know what I mean? You just need one rock group to show what the culture looks like. So I built the rock group, and the thing is that I'll like spend some time on this, and it totally gives me ideas for stories.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, it is like I kind of want to write a story about this rock group. It's like, but what I might do is just do a Rolling Stone expose on them, So that way I can get all the story out without having to write a whole comic about it. I just write it out and then put it out for my patrons to read or whatever, like a little Rolling Stone expose. That'd be kind of fun. Actually, that might be the ideal situation.
I was going to say go with that.
Yeah, because I think otherwise the entire story will just haunt me, and then I'll be like, I really have to write this, and you guys will be like, would you just do your comic and stop doing all these side stories? And I'll be like, but I have to write this story, and then you have to come over and kick me and stuff like that.
No, I'll be living in Aurora. Screw that.
Yeah, well, I'm not really ecstatic about you moving away now that not like I visited you a whole lot before, but I could have. Just saying.
Yeah, well, Coda gets a yard. We get more space.
Yeah, I mean, I really cannot blame you. I wish you could stay here, but I don't blame you. This house here we got before the explosion of everything, and you'll never see. I mean, we bought this house at $174K. We'll never see that again.
Suck.
Yep. Back in 2012, when it wasn't a thing.
How much do you owe still, if you don't mind me asking?
We're down to 100, I think.
Nice.
Yeah. We're not doing bad. I mean, that's the thing. We love the house. The house is in a great neighborhood. It's a good, solid house. It's in the neighborhood I literally grew up in. I rode my bike through this neighborhood when I was a kid. Don't tell my mom that, though, because it was across 72nd, and she didn't want me doing that. I mean, since my mom has passed away, if you do manage to tell her, please tell her some other things, too. I mean, reasonably speaking, that's some pretty seriously good powers you got there. So, but, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I was the same. Like, my dad lives off of 72nd and Federal, so that was my old stomping ground. I used to walk all over the place.
I feel like you and I were almost in the same, we almost had the same childhood. I feel like.
What school did you go to?
I went to Jefferson County Open.
Oh, okay. So you went for a drive to get to school.
Yeah, I had to drive to school. Did you go to Westminster?
I went to Random.
Oh, okay.
All right, off of about 80th and Sheridan, or 80th and Federal, roughly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I didn't do good in school. I was too outside the box, especially for the 80s, you know. They were still kind of thinking in the 50s way of schooling, you know, where if you didn't do the tests well, you were obviously a belligerent kid, and not in fact that you had ADD, because nobody knew what ADD was.
Yep.
So I was just a bad kid. That's all that there was, and there was nothing else about it.
Yeah, they actually had me in special ed classes.
Yep, that's where I ended up. All the special ed. Same thing. We were just belligerent kids.
Ink does not dry very well on this paper.
What?
The ink doesn't dry very well on this paper.
Oh.
It's going to be interesting.
You're using an 08 too. That's a big pen.
Yeah.
Lots of ink going down.
I like getting those nice thick outlines.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I like the 08. That's one of my go-tos as well. But I also keep a 005 because
005, 003 is 00. No, not a 00. So
you're just using 03. Yeah.
Yeah, an 03, 02, 01, and then I have a 005. I think I have a couple of those because I like those real fine lines when I'm working on bigger pieces.
That, like I said, I think I figured out what my style is, and that's the thing. I love the really sharp, crisp lines. I'm still working on trying to get that here digitally because I'm not really getting that same feel digitally, but you know, I know that's a practice thing. But I really like those sharp, fine lines then with the like super chaotic, like watercolor splatters all over the place.
Try those brushes I uploaded to the drive for you. There's a and the Jimmy. Oh man, I forgot the guy's last name. Really cool artist. He's on YouTube, but he made a Micron pen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'll usually drop that down to like a 2 when I'm working at 600. Like 02. I get some really nice fine lines on that. And then I'll mix it with the quilt that he has, and then he has a sable brush on there as well.
I'm still using the default G pen coming out of Clip, so I'm totally open to different brushes. So I think I'll do that. I absolutely adore Wallop, or whatever her name is, WLOP, that skin brush that they use, and they're big soft, which is really nice.
Do you have that brush?
Yep, I put it up in the folder.
Oh, I'm gonna have to snag that one
under WLOP, but it does a really, it does a neat. Well, here I'll show you. So, I can take like this here, and it does a really cool like this. See, where I can get sort of an in between, so I can pick in between colors and blend.
Nice,
right? And I really like that because it gives sort of a painterly feel, but it doesn't need to. But it gives like a really nice like rough edge over here. But the way that they've been painting is they'll take a color, and they'll lay down the color, and then they'll go over here into this blend area and then just pick something out of it and then blend in between. And that's such a cool way of doing it. And it's pressure sensitive, so the more you press, the more paint it lays down.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to mess with that.
Yep, you have to steal that one. It's one of my favorites. So Doesn't really fit my comic strip though.
One thing I don't like about erasing my thicker pencils is sometimes I forget where my lines were on.
Oh yeah. Wham! I love sound effects.
Not much of an audience this morning, huh?
No, not really. My Mondays are usually pretty calm. Not a lot of people here, which is okay. Really, I mean, as much as it would be good for me to gather a following and stuff like that, I do this more just to make sure that I get up every morning and draw. In the very beginning, when we started COVID, I just being locked down and not able to see people was depressing. And so I was just getting up in the morning and then getting onto Facebook and arguing with people. And I wasn't doing work. And since I started doing this, I've finished that book. I've been developing a world. I've managed to pull a lot of work together. This is like show 600 so far, so, I've been doing this a lot. So that's good. I feel like the things I have heard. Oh yeah, that's nice. Zorch.
Oh, cool.
I think. Nice. I just crashed it. God. So.
Oh, I can't tag you when I try to share the video.
Do what?
I'm trying to share the video and I can't tag you.
Oh, it may not be on my personal page.
No, it's on your art page, but I can't even tag your page. It's weird.
Hope it didn't corrupt it. Crashing in the middle of it. Aw, man. Crap.
What happened?
Clip Studio Paint crashed during a save procedure.
Oh, no way.
So it wiped out everything.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
That's brutal. That's all right.
Aha, I found the workaround. I had to edit it.
It is disappointing, though. Oh, you had to edit it? Yeah, so I have a real weird time, like, tagging you, too. I've always had sort of a hard time tagging you. It's really weird. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't understand. Okay, you are...
There we go.
Number 240.
See if we get any views.
I thank you.
Nah, don't thank me yet, man. I just got back on Facebook, so...
You may not have anybody.
Get my friend list back up there.
Yeah. Yep, my attitude with social media is it's a necessary evil, and I'm just going to do my best to only talk about Star Trek and my artwork. And
You sort of failed at that.
That's it. Well, I know, but I can't be perfect. So... give it the best shot that I can. I don't know. Today I posted a thing about William Riker. I suddenly realized that like Riker is on everything. But I always think about Jonathan Frakes, who, by the way, is like my buddy Zeke and I are talking about this. He's like the coolest dude ever. He really is.
That's what I've heard.
I mean, he's just so sweet and so nice, and he gets out in the audience and chats with all of us, and he's really down to earth, which is great because, you know, a franchise as big as Star Trek, you can get to a point where it's kind of like, you know, a lot of the Trek actors will get super intimidated by what's going on, and I get that, but it is still kind of annoying when they decide that, you know, they don't want to talk to us. I mean, we're not entitled to it, so I get that, but it's still sad. And you get like weird stuff, like as Shatner gets older, he gets really weird. He gets into these bizarre Twitter fights with people. You know, and it's kind of like...
He's kind of an ass, though.
Yeah, I mean, well, he always has been, but he's 90 now, right? So...
Is he?
Yeah, he just turned 90. And so he totally, like, he's getting that old man grumpy stuff going on, you know? Like, he's in his mindset and he can't be shook, you know? You can't get him out of that thought process. Which, you know, I get it. You know, old people are old people. I'll be there too. There will be a day. And I'll be like grumpy and annoying and be like, shut up, Raph. What do you know? And you'll be like, shut up, guy. What do you know? I mean, not like we don't do that now. I'm just saying.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I do that now. All you got to do is ask Christina.
Right? Yep.
I get on my soapboxes every once in a while.
Yeah, but who doesn't?
One of our funny ones is when I went off when Coda was born. We were trying to find food. And we were down at, I don't remember which hospital we were at, but it was downtown. And Coda was born early, so he was in the NICU. And we couldn't bring him home. Mm-hmm. So we were visiting and we went to go get some food. And Christina had found a restaurant called Sassafras. And I just went off because I was just like, God damn, hipsters coming to Colorado, making this thing up. We were looking for food for almost an hour driving around, and we couldn't find the restaurant, so it made me even more mad. But yeah, you should ask Christina about that at some point. Like, it was pretty bad.
Dude, you and I have been friends long enough now. I've listened to you go on your little tirades sometimes too.
Oh no, this was bad.
You're like, this is worse than usual. This is not my normal tirade.
It's one of those ones that where Christina was like, damn, dude.
Right? She was like, why did I marry you?
Oh, there's not a day that I'm pretty sure she says that.
She does that all the time. I get it. Oh, man. Ah, good heavens. Yeah, I think I will try that brush that you put in there. Or the pen, so to speak, because I think I want to try cleaner lines. I mean, I don't mind these, but I feel like I get sort of that effect where it's really thin and then it's all of a sudden really thick.
No, the Micron one's really nice because it's a steady line.
It's a steady line,
but it does have some pressure on it. So if you do put pressure, it'll kind of get a little bit thicker here and there.
Just enough to give expression. That's really all I need. I just need to give an expression to my line. I mean, you know, feel
Yeah, I
like
like it because it works a lot like a micron, a real life micron, where if I push a little harder, that nib gets pushed down and it kind of makes a thicker line.
yeah. But you and I both also sort of do the same thing, although you've got some exquisite line work going right there. I mean, you've got expression. Like in
Oh,
the tongue, I can see a lot on the top side. You've got a lot thicker than the bottom side, and it looks really nice.
thanks.
And I always feel kind of like, I've got too much expression. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll save you, and then hopefully you won't crash. There we go. I've never had it crash before. This is a first.
I've had it crash now that I'm working at 600 DPI, depending on how many layers, how big the piece is. Because I work at 11 by 17, and there was a project I was working on, and I doubled the size because they were looking at printing. So I doubled it even bigger just in case they wanted to make bigger posters, and it
Right.
took forever to save. Like, it wasn't actually crashing; it just was saving. It took me probably about 10, 15 minutes to save. And it looked like it crashed.
Yeah, it panics me too because it'll think about crashing, and then the screen will go black, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" And then it comes back. But there is definitely some aspect that is not working properly. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm getting kind of a something's not working totally right. I hope they get to it someday. Important.
They doing yard work by you?
Yeah, we got a guy out there doing yard work.
Thought so.
Well, so right across from my house is on two streets. It's on the corner. It's a corner lot, and right across the street that goes through my backyard is a little park with a playground and a nice little like path wandering through it and stuff like that. But they're always maintaining it, and my office faces that side, which, other than this, that's a great thing because it's a west-facing. I've got a little patio, and it faces west. And since there's a park there are no houses to block my view of the mountains.
Nice.
So it's actually, like I said, this house is great. Like the greatest house. And I love this house. And I'm not going anywhere, damn it. Which, it's a good thing that I like this house because I'm here every day, all the time. And
How's your side business going, by the way?
okay. I mean, it hasn't been doing so well since since COVID, obviously, doesn't go as well, but it's not bad. I've already worked on like 3 houses this year, and considering that I spent a month and a half in Texas with my dad, that's not bad. 3 houses in about 3 months, so 1 a month, which isn't awesome. I'm trying to get to 1 house a week if I can, but that's cool.
Where in Texas were you?
I was in Houston, north of Houston. If you're familiar with Texas, you know where the Woodlands
I
is.
was born in Texas.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
So was I. See, once again, I think you and I lived like a similar life. I feel like we're twinsies here. Yeah. So I was born in Houston, in the medical center. That's that huge medical center in Houston. But my family is really from Conroe, which is about 40 miles north on I-45, between Dallas and Houston. I don't know if you even know where we're talking about. You may not.
No, I'm not that familiar. Are
you from West Texas?
No, South Texas. I was born in Harlingen, My parents and my grandparents all lived in Lyford, Texas. So it's like about an hour from Mexico.
Yeah.
They have been there for forever, since the early 1900s, 1920s or so.
Now, see, you know what you know that we've got to go visit your family because they're down there near where SpaceX is launching.
Oh, are they?
Yep. SpaceX is trying to get as far in South Texas as possible because the closer we are to the equator, the more you can use the Earth's spin to help propel rockets into orbit. That's why Cape Canaveral's in Florida.
Huh.
It's all about orbital mechanics, man. All about orbital mechanics.
Texas, it's also about the taxes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Texas, there's all kinds of benefits to being a business in Texas. The drawback is the roads suck and and power sucks and anything that's socialized is trashed, you know. But hey, businesses do great there.
Yeah, individuals don't.
The what?
Individuals don't.
Yeah, individuals
Stock
don't.
market's horrible.
Oh yeah. It's all about the businesses. Of course, you and I could go on tirades about that, and we won't be disagreeing with each other either.
Nope.
It's one of those places where you and I are.
I went there back in 2010 to visit my grandfather because he got sick. And I saw a house, good 4-bedroom house, newly renovated. Didn't have a basement, Texas.
Sure.
And then new appliances, all stainless steel, huge yard, and they wanted 60.
Wow. 60. Oh yeah, my dad had a house there in Conroe, in town. And I think he sold it for 55. And that was only a few years ago.
The problem is getting work there, though.
Yep. Otherwise, I might have considered staying, but I didn't actually stay because, frankly, my wife was sick of it. So, and really, honestly, would have been fine, but she just had one or two incidences that just really didn't do her any good. She was pretty bitter about it. So,
what happened?
One of them was that they kept asking her what church she went to, and we knew that if we told people we were non-religious, that wouldn't end well.
Nope, not in Texas.
So
you got to be very religious. It's got to be the right one.
Yeah, you got to be the right religious,
and you got to like the right football.
Right, exactly. And that was really not doing her any good. That really wasn't. She was, because she doesn't, my wife's one of those, and the reason why I like her so much, she's outspoken, she speaks her mind, there's nothing, she's not good at hiding stuff. Not like I particularly think I'm just saying, that's just not her nature. And so they would ask her what church she'd go to, and she'd say, I don't go to church, And then they would do the, oh, honey, I understand. Sometimes church can just be a pain. You're just too busy, And she'd be like, and I have to steer her away from the conversation because I'm like, this is about to go bad. And so it's like, I really feel for her. I mean, I do. It's not cool. And I get it. But it's still, yeah, it's a thing. So it was one of those things that was just kind of, and then of course, she doesn't remember this anymore, but one of the things that also happened was we accidentally went to the wrong house while going to my dad's house. And my dad doesn't lock his door.
Oh, so you just walked in?
So, well, we went to the neighbor's house because we just came back from Japan. So we didn't know this house very well, you know? So we accidentally tried to open the door on the house next door and realized we were at the wrong house. Oh, no problem. So we turned around, got back in our car, and the guy came out with a shotgun leveled at us. And my wife is like 7 months pregnant. And I'm like, really? Really? And, you know, what are you doing? Why are you here? And he's leveling this loaded shotgun at us. Only in Texas. You know, it's just one of those. We made a mistake. We clearly weren't criminals.
Well, just thankful you weren't the wrong color. You would have been shot.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it had been somebody else, not naming any names, but I'm kind of looking pointedly at you. I'd have gotten your butt shot. You know?
Yeah, Christina didn't care for it too much, but I got her to get into the beach.
Yeah, that's the only thing. I love Galveston. I mean, just all of the things at Galveston, but I have been going to Galveston Beach since I was a baby, you know. There are photographs of me sitting at Galveston Beach, you know, and losing my diaper because the water washed it away, and my grandparents thought that was funny. And you know what I mean? It's like, that's just normal. And so I do like the beach. I like the beach a lot.
Yeah, it's funny. Christina doesn't really care for the beach, you know, because you can't really see what's in there. We don't know what's in there, you know, sharks and whatnot. And I was just like, oh, we're fine because, you know, the beach we went to, the sand was so like deep or high when you walk out. We could walk probably a good 50 meters and it'd go to our waist and then back to our knees and then to our waist and then back to our knees. That's just kind of how the sand leveled out. So we went out pretty far and we were safe. And I was like, yeah, you don't have to worry about sharks. The next thing we know, we look out about 200, 300 yards. There's a seagull flying and a shark jumped out and caught it in the air.
And you're like, maybe we do have to worry about sharks. Oh, man. Okay. Who were the brush people that you were talking about? What am I doing? I've copied over your things. So which ones am I dealing with? Jimmy Reyes or Robert Marzullo?
Jimmy Reyes.
Reyes. And then it's updated brushes and pages, or is it the 10 brush set?
10 brush set.
Crow Quill. Kolinsky chisel lead technical pen. That's the one you're talking about. It's the technical pen, isn't it?
Let me double check and make sure. I could have. It might have been the technical pen, but I could have swore that I was.
I have made a mess out of your world. Not the first time I have messed up your world, my friend.
I'm bringing up my Clip Studio, so just bear with me.
It's all good, man. I'm still trying to remember how to import them.
Drag and drop.
Really?
Yep.
Well, that's stupid. Who does
so
that?
What I did is I drug it over the first brush, dropped it, and then I dragged it to the top to make its own category, and I named it the Jimmy Reyes. And then I just started dropping all of his brushes in there.
Okay. Crow Quill, drag. Oh, yeah. Check it.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, technical pen, you're right. So I'll use the Crow Quill, which is really nice. Kolinsky brush is really nice too. I also modified a copy of the Kolinsky to make it round, so it's not that oval shape. That's my personal.
Is that Kolinsky brush 1?
The Kolinsky brush, so he gave it away for free, and then he gave it away in the set. So they're the same brush. But if you want to copy them both over, you can make one round and leave one oval. It's kind of what I did.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to give it a shot at this technical on the Crowquill first and see what.
Yeah, the technical one is cool, and then the dry brush is nice.
Oh, I like that Crowquill already. It's a nice pen. Oh, look at that. Oh, that is slick. Let's look at the technical. Yeah, see, that one's good too.
Yeah, and then if you just drop it down to a 0.2, or 0.3, you get really nice lines. And then, like I said, if you put a lot of pressure, it'll make it a little bit thicker, but it's not terribly
nice. A lot thicker, yeah. Which is what we need when we do the stuff like you're doing with that Venom picture.
Yeah.
Oh, because we don't really need it to be that. But the Crowquill is another one that I like. I like these Crowquills because that one doesn't seem to do the balloon like the G Pen does. And the G Pen, when I do this, it seems to balloon out quite a bit.
Yeah.
A lot more than I want it to.
Well, the trick with the Crowquill is, since you see how it's ovoed, like if you go back to it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so you're going to want to work in a downward stroke on that one. So if you go to the side, it's going to be thicker. But if you go downward, you can get that thin to thick to thin.
I don't know, man. I could do...
So I find myself rotating my screen quite a bit.
It seems to be able to control quite a bit. I don't know if you're using an XP pen.
Yeah.
Why am I getting better control over it than you?
It might be my setup.
Okay. You may suck.
Like, I get really good control over it. It's just I notice that depending on the angle that you're going at, you get a different line.
Yeah, I am noticing it's thinner here than, say, here when I'm going up and down. Like, the up and down seems thicker. But I'm okay with that. I just want expression in my line. You know, because the way I naturally draw, I draw heavy to the bottom side of an object and light lift up to the top side of an object to give it weight and dimension to the bottom.
Gotcha.
So I'm okay. It doesn't matter whether it's slightly thicker at the bottom or slightly thinner at the bottom. It'll just give good expression, and that's fine. So I think that'll work just fine. What's the multi-liner?
Multi-liner is kind of like the Tech Pen, but it's got a little bit of a bleed. So it gives you kind of a really good multi-liner look. Like if you're drawing on rough paper.
Well, maybe I want that one too. I'm like stealing all these pens.
Take them. They're great brushes, man.
Yeah, no, I'm good. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. That's nice.
Yeah, they were worth the money.
Yeah, we're all spending like all of our money. I like how it has a blop when it starts. That one's good. A blop. Nice. Cool. And you're like, they were worth the money. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, that's cool because it does look like it's, and this has a better response time than my G Pen. That was what I was noticing before when I ran the G Pen. It was taking a processor to do the G Pen. And so, like, I was writing the words over here, and it was just ending up kind of doing this to write the words because it was leveling them out. I couldn't write all the
words. You don't use the text?
Sound effects, I hand draw.
Oh, okay.
The dialogue, I always use I actually have a font that's my handwriting. I had when my first tablet had this beautiful like text font creator that made TrueType fonts, and it just brought up a bunch of boxes, and since it was a tablet, you could use your pen and just write in there, and it was an M1400, I think, which was a specific kind of tablet that they really mostly used in like medical facilities so that you could write prescriptions and things like that. So it had expression and the pen worked really well. And it had touch sensitivity, but it was a wired pen connected to the tablet. to give it power. And so it was cool. And so I made my own font. So all of this is my handwriting whenever I do the text work on things like this. And that's why I get usually really offended when people are like, don't use Comic Sans. I'm like, I'm not actually using Comic Sans. This is really my handwriting. Isn't that cool?
That's funny because I actually use Comic Sans.
Yeah, shouldn't use Comic Sans.
Why?
It's getting a rep. And
it's a comic font. It's like literally the font they use.
But to be honest, it's probably getting a rep from inkers and letterers. I'm sure they're the ones that started the rep, you know. But it is. People are starting to see it, and when they recognize that it's Comic Sans, they're like, "Hey, don't use Comic Sans. It's cool. That's uncool, you know, or whatever." But you know, you're Raph. You do or do not as you see fit. So it's all good. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Personally, my first thought was that I'm just going to go buy a manga font. And so I did. And then after I had the manga font for a while, I got that tablet. And then the tablet had the ability to write my own font in. And now I have like 5 or 6 different fonts. I've got a bold version. I've got an italic version. And then I've got this newer version, which is what I call Guy Serious. And that version is more like the lettering in comic books. Because like I write E's like my mom wrote E's, which is like a backward 3 like that.
Oh yeah, I do the same thing.
And so, but it makes my font, makes my handwriting font look cutesy. And so, a friend of mine had recommended that I go for the standard E. You know, it looks more like that when inking. And she's right; it looks better and cleaner. And like the A's usually are like this, or something really weird like that. It's a very strange way that they do A's. So anyway,
how much do you want for your font?
Huh. You can just, I'll give it to you if you really want. That's fine. I'll put it in the thingy.
Sweet, thank you.
I'll put it in the thingy, whatever that's called. But it's a true type font. You can say the guy lettered your stuff.
I can't give you credit, man.
Right? Why would you do that? Oh man, that's funny. Important fonts. Do you just want the serious font?
I'll take whatever you give me. You know that. I'm always looking for good fonts, though, for my letters.
Yeah, all of the ones that are Gai-chan, those are the sort of what I use for this, the comic strip. So it's like the ones with the backwards E's and stuff like that. So Guy Serious is more like the real fonts from comic books. I've copied them, share with everyone. Because I have this share folder for you guys.
Yeah, I like that share folder.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome. There we go. They're all in the share folder now.
Sweet. I'll have to grab those later.
Do with them as you will.
I'll give you credit when I use them.
You don't have to.
But
you can. I will absolutely appreciate it, but you don't have to.
I'm one of those artists that believes in people getting credit.
Oh, come on. You're so crazy. Weirdo.
I like paying guest artists.
Yeah. Someday, I promise you I will do a cover for you. I promise. I promise. I really will.
I have to wait till I get money that I can afford.
I I did do a Pia picture once.
Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, I've had other creators that I know where I've hit them up and I'm like, hey, man, I'd love to do a guest cover for you or something if you're looking for that, or a pinup. Yeah, just do it and maybe we'll use it. He's like, oh, so you don't pay anybody for that? Okay.
It's like, you can do it, but I'm not paying yet.
Which is, I'm fine. Like when I offer, when I'm like hitting up, like if I were to hit you up and you're like, hey, I would love it if you did it, but I can't afford to pay you, so it's on you. That's different. Like I've had people hit me up and they're like, oh no, we don't pay. We're just looking for some fan art. Dude, seriously, you're an artist. You understand how much it sucks when you don't get paid, and you're not going to pay another artist.
Yeah, like, I mean, like when I do the Pia drawings for you right now, I know you guys can't pay, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that, you know?
Well, they're not getting published either. If I publish it, I'm going to pay you. You know?
Yeah.
Like I paid Bob, and when he did one of our covers, and he was like surprised,
Right?
because nobody's paid before like that.
Well, and also, your family, man. I mean, there's a little bit of a difference. Like sometimes we're just doing that because your family, you need help. We're good. You know what I mean? There's like a difference in that manner. Like, so sometimes we're surprised just because it's like we didn't expect that. That's fine, you know. We're just here to help, trying to do what we can, keep all of us above water, you know.
Yeah, but that's when I feel like you should pay even more when it's family.
That's
I feel
fair.
like family takes advantage too much.
I will agree with that to some degree.
Family that's actual blood, they definitely take advantage.
Yeah. Gotta say, man, our family usually is different. This non-blood family. We are sort of, we all understand.
Yeah, I actually had some of my family ask me for my book, and they didn't want to pay for it. It's like, it's not how it works, pal. That cost me money. You do artwork in it, I'll give you a free copy, and I'll pay you for your artwork. If you didn't, you're paying for the damn book.
Right?
So when's Nundusk? Wow, I'm always mispronouncing your con.
Oh, IndieK?
Yeah.
It's the very first weekend of September. I think it's even like August 31st, September 1st, September 2nd, something like that. When the hell is that? It's that weekend, whatever that weekend is. Here, let me see if I can find it.
I thought about hitting you up, but I don't know if I do while there.
Do what?
I thought about hitting you up for a table, but I don't know if I do well. It's manga. I don't exactly know.
Yeah. The thing about it is, let's see here. Yeah, there we go. It's the 3rd, 4th, 5th of September. So right there in the very, 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 very beginning of September. We're usually on that weekend of some sort, whichever way that is. Yeah, the thing is that Yuki, who's in charge of Artist Alley, she has like very specific rules about who she lets in. So you'd have to, and I've actually tried to explain this before to some of the other RTG guys, because they're like, we never get in. And I'm like, what'd you send them? Batman, Spider-Man. And I'm like, yeah, see, that's not going to work. You got to send in, Pokemon and, you know what I mean? It's got to show that you're a manga style artist or artist reflecting Japanese culture in one way or another. Because that's our 504c3. And so the point is that we're promoting Japanese culture. So we have to, it's kind of like going to powwow and, selling Spider-Man comics. It won't, because powwow is promoting native culture. And so it wouldn't work as well. I'm wearing one of my powwow shirts right now.
I can draw manga covers or characters. They won't be in a manga style.
It doesn't have to be. It just has to show that you are manga or Japanese. It just has to show you're forwarding Japanese culture. That's all. So, if you're drawing Pokemon in your style, that still works. I can't guarantee that you'll get a spot, but one of the biggest mistakes I noticed that artists make trying to get into K is that they put forth classic American style and nobody's going to let you in on classic American style.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. That's just not what we promote. So there's nothing wrong with it. Especially since this year we're going to start really rolling up the Sana section of the convention, which is the part that is traditional Japanese, like flower arrangement and tea ceremony and things like that, really pushing that aspect more. Because we now have the Gaylord, and we actually had an entire second floor which didn't have stuff going on. But we had the rooms, and so we're reaching out to like the local Japanese groups here, and trying to get origami and and stuff like that. And I might teach a class on Kyudo and things that'd be kind of cool. So martial arts is definitely a thing. So yeah, that's a thing. I'm hoping that when I retire from the board, that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm just going to retire to Artist Alley and live there for the rest of my days. Tis my battle plan, but I have a manga style, so it makes it easier for me. So at least it looks, I guess, sort of starting like it looks like it's. Well, I feel like my style is even like classic 80s anime, no less. Like that last piece I just did, which was that spacesuit piece. Like I was doing all of the metal pieces, and I was doing like the classic anime thing of putting in the dark and then putting in that white line right between it and making it look like it was shining. And I was like, gosh, I really did pick up some like bizarre habits.
I do that actually.
Yeah, right? Because you picked up these goofy habits from 80s anime. Oh, man. That's all right. I'm entertained. It's all good.
And it's taking longer than I thought it was.
You mumbled under your breath, and it made your microphone go. and listen closer. And so now we're picking up your air conditioning unit. It's very funny.
Oh, that's funny. That's actually my computer.
Yeah, your computer's picking up your computer's fan. Because you mumbled. And so like the auto adjust picked up. So it was like you went, and then
Oh, apologize.
that's all good. As usual with me, this isn't a complaint, more just a fascination. I'm like, huh, that's interesting. Would not have expected that to happen.
Yeah, what I was saying is this Venom piece is taking me longer than I thought it would.
Yeah. To be fair, my one comic strip is taking longer than I thought it was because I was inking, and now I'm not.
Yeah, but yours was because of a crash.
That's true. You're just enjoying drawing Venom.
Yeah, I'm kind of liking putting all these lines in.
Yeah, you have always been a fan of Venom, so there's really nothing wrong with that. Man, I really am completely enamored with this technical pen.
Oh yeah, it's a nice pen.
It really is.
It's probably one of the favorites of mine that I use.
There we go. It's amazing how fixing a tool fixes so many sins. There you go. I should be getting today like a gajillion little pans. I ordered them online on last week on Wednesday, and they're all clear. So there's little half pans, so I can snap them into my watercolor bin. So that should be
That's
cool.
I'm a little jealous.
I had a lot of fun on Wednesday. I really am now regretting not calling you in on that one. Although you and Christina can thank us because we spent money.
Yeah.
and when my wife came back yesterday, she was like, I did notice the $70 that you spent at Gyrie's. I was like, sorry. However, on the flip side, I've got great paints.
Yeah, it's hard not to spend that kind of money at Gyrie's.
Do what?
It's hard not to spend that kind of money at Gyrie's.
Right? See, I don't feel so bad. All right. Okay, looks like my blue line's ready. I just rough in stuff. It's okay. And I'll save, and I won't touch anything while I'm saving. And apparently causes quite a bit of a freak out. So I think that's what caused the crash. I hit save, and then I tried to get back to drawing while in the process of saving.
Oh, yeah, I never do that.
Yep.
That was on you.
That's on me. I think I tried to just freak it out. Okay, let's switch to this crow quill. Let's get in here on this thing. See what we get. Wow, that's a nice line. Man, that does look nice, doesn't it? Oh, doggy. There we go. The only problem I'm worried about is this crow quill is thin enough right at the very beginning that it may not fill well, which sounds like it doesn't feel well. Anyway.
Well, I've learned the trick with that is just kind of getting used to the pressure sensitivity on it.
Uh-huh.
and you can fill it pretty well, especially if you widen the brush out, which is really nice because if you go really light when you're getting to your outline, you can make it so that you don't go over.
Right. Well, I'm just saying I may tweak it just a hair. Tweak its lightest setting. Dang it. Man, I'm having problems with my main character. I think I'd be able to draw just a random circle. Apparently not. Random circle has thwarted me. I no longer remember what my thought process was when I made these characters because they're now 21 years old. My comic strip is old enough to drink.
That's insane.
It really is. But I no longer remember what my thought process was, but I seem to feel like the entire point behind drawing TB as a tennis ball was so that it'd be easy to draw. And he always ends up being the one that's the most difficult to draw.
I was going to say mental therapy.
Yep. I did tell you the story about why I started drawing this strip, right?
Nope.
Oh. Because it was February of 2000, and Charles Schultz had just retired. And so I was like, you know what? I could do that. How hard can a comic strip be? Right? Because I was in my 20s and stupid. So I started drawing this strip, sort of about a slice of life with robots. Because I thought that'd be fun, and I could make, space jokes and stuff, which does appeal to me. But I started drawing this strip, and the goal was originally to do 1 year's worth and see how fast I could do 1 year's worth of strips. Well, I didn't tell my mom because really the truth was I felt like if I screwed it up and didn't actually finish, I didn't want her asking, what happened to that comic strip.
Yeah, you don't have any consequences.
Yeah, so I didn't tell her, and then I went ahead and spent the next month drawing 313 of these things. All of them with a felt tip pen. So
why 313?
That would be every day, Monday through Saturday, without the Sunday strip.
Oh, okay.
Because Sunday strips are bigger. And so what I did was 313 would have been every weekday, so to speak, or every black and white day. I guess it would have been every black and white strip, right? So I did 313 of them, and not all of them were good, which is why even now this is 245 of all of the strips. Really, of that original 313, only a handful of them are really funny. The rest of them were like, well... But I wanted to see if I could do it, And I did. And then I invited everybody over, all my friends, and I printed them all out and then made a little packet with a little grading thing to the right of them to say which ones did you like, which ones were they funny, and stuff like that. I had a little party at my house and everything like that. And my mom came over and she was like, you never told me you were doing that. This is great, you know. She was all excited. And that was really cool. And so she was like truly shocked. And that was kind of nifty. I very rarely truly shocked my mom. And so it's one of those moments in my life that I remember, you know, forever sort of things as an artist. Mostly because I feel like I was born to be an artist, and this is what I'm supposed to do with my life. And, you know, for the most part, most people are like, but what are you going to do for real? You know, what real thing are you going to do?
I still get that from my family.
Yeah, and I get it from my dad. Doesn't do it anymore, really, because he's realized that, you know, I'm not going to, at almost 50, it's not likely that I'm going to change at this point, you know.
How old are you now?
48.
Oh, that's right. You are older than me.
Yeah, but not by a whole lot.
No, you only got 3 years on me.
Yeah. Like I said, you and I come from roughly the same era. I can tell you make 80s references enough. You're an 80s kid, too.
Could have been that I was just a poor 90s kid.
You could have been a poor 90s kid, but you're really an 80s kid. It is kind of irritating because you don't look it.
I still get that look from a lot of Christina's friends.
Yeah. You don't look your age. Curse your native blood. Christina doesn't. She's going to look really lovely for a long time, too. Curse her native blood. Meanwhile, I just sit over here and get older and older and older. Well, not so bad for I guess us guys, it's not so bad. Because we don't have the cultural stigma.
Yeah. That cultural stigma sucks.
It does.
I mean, not for us, like you said, but it sucks.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Some of that's just stupid. I think my wife is getting lovelier as she gets older. She's starting to get like gray streaks in her hair that look really cool.
Nice.
And it's like, those look neat. And she's like, but it's gray. And I'm like, so they look awesome. You know, it's like,
Christina's counting the days to get her gray hairs.
yeah. It's only a matter of time, my friend.
No, she's already starting to get some.
Yeah, for you. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about you.
I'm starting to get a little pepper. Not much.
Yeah, it's true. I have been gray since my 20s.
I had a friend who was gray since early high school.
Yeah. So, I mean,
A friend, but I haven't talked to him since high school, so I don't know if that
right,
counts.
he may still be gray, or maybe not. He might be gone. I'm noticing a lot of those people are gone, sadly.
I think that's when I start feeling old.
Yeah, right? When your
Went
high
to a
school
friend's
buddies start
memorial.
dying.
Yeah. Went to my friend's memorial over the weekend and ran into some old friends. One of them was like, "Hey, I'm a grandpa." What?
What? Well, yeah, and like one of my buddies posted how many of you, made it to 50 without being a granddad? And I'm like, dude, like, I'm gonna make it to 50 without, with barely being a dad.
Well, you're 48. How old is
Yeah.
Kai?
Yeah, he's 11.
Technically, you might make it.
Yeah,
Right before your 50s. I don't see Kai doing that, but
yeah, it's not his style. So
scientifically, it's possible.
scientifically, well, and that's the other thing. Like, I'm buddies with people who could be my daughter or son. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
like Chelsea, the co-host on Geek Tank. I realized that she was born when I was 20. You
Oh,
know,
wow.
like not just she could not just be like my kid technically, she could legit have been my kid. You know?
That's
Like,
weird. What's crazy is when you have women like that hit on you.
yeah, she doesn't hit on me, and it's good. Trust me, that would just make me go. Now I don't know what to do with you people.
I've had young girls hit on me before, and it's so weird.
Well, yeah, but you, like I said, you don't look it. I, on the other hand, most definitely look like I'm an old guy.
Yeah, but it doesn't make it any less weird.
That's true. I'm certainly not going to say it's not weird. Oh yeah, that's technical. That's beautiful.
Like when I was working at DVD Stop, I had one girl that I watched grow up from 10, and I had been there so long that she had grown up and hit her 20s, and she started hitting on me.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, I was going to say that's legit though. She knew how old you were.
Yeah.
That's just one of those things. It's like, oh wait a minute.
Well, I joke about it a lot, but I always tell Christina, like, when I got hit on, especially when I was at DVD Stop, it was, all right, are you sure? Because this is how old I am. Just had a divorce. How many kids I have. This is how much money I have, which is nothing.
Right?
And I'm living with Kevin. Are you sure you want to go on this date? I actually had a lot of people go, nope, I'm good.
Yeah.
Then I would have the people who are like, yeah, let's go. Do I really want to? Because you should not be okay with that.
Ah. It's the stabilization.
Oh, what's going on?
Stabilization's what slows the pin down. I get it now.
Oh, yeah, I turned that off. Sorry, I forgot that I had that turned off.
No. That's me. I turned it on. I've been trying to figure out why I can't write with the G pen, and now I get it. It's highly stabilized, and it's the stabilization that causes. Because I just upped the stabilization just to see what would happen with the Crowquill, and it got slow fast.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yep, it's all good. I don't need it. That's why I practice every day. Man, I'm not going to be able to finish this comic today.
That's you're supposed to get it done, aren't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll finish. I guess I should say I won't be able to finish this in show. I'll have to finish it after the show because of the crash. It's a bummer. Well, okay. I say because of the crash. The truth is, I've been messing around with your pens that you gave me, so I really shouldn't blame the crash on it.
Nah, blame the crash.
Blame crash.
It's more legitimate.
Right?
So what's the next con you're going to?
At the moment, I think really NDK is the next one. I don't think Wicked West is up. So
Yeah, I haven't heard anything from them. They still owe us a table. We didn't withdraw our money from any of the cons that we signed up before COVID hit.
neither did I. Which
Just
is
didn't
fine.
doing that to them. Like I knew how much it hurt us. So I was,
Yeah, I didn't want to withdraw my money from it either. I mean, honestly, some of these guys I might end up just paying for two tables, so to speak. just to give them support. Because the same thing. I mean, I've been there while we did our financials for NDK, and we had a war chest, and it was still hurting. After we're a big con and we have a lot of history and stuff like that, so it's like I totally feel for the other conventions out there. I'm still with you for Aya when you get it back up and running, if you ever do.
Yeah, we got some talks going.
So don't worry, I'll be there. Help you out. I also love the principle of IACON. That's a good one. Your mission statement is awesome.
We're actually looking to try and make it free.
That could be interesting.
Unfortunately, not for tables, but for like people to come in.
No, like I said, might be interesting. I mean, isn't Dink free generally entry? No, I guess Dink is.
No, it's not. I wonder what's going on with Dink.
I don't either. Crozier's not involved anymore, and I talk mostly to Crozier, so. And since he's not involved in Dink, it's really hard. And of course, usually I do all of my run into everybody at DPCC. So I'll run into all the guys at DPCC. Okay, what's going on with your con? How you doing? All that stuff. So, and we didn't have DPCC, so it's usually when I'm running into everybody. Everybody seems to make it to DPCC, so everybody.
We still got our money in that one.
Do what?
We still got our money in that one.
Yeah. I am curious what the new owners are going to do with it. I really hope they don't just let it die, although
they're not going to. We're looking at 2022.
Yeah. Although, I mean, honestly, man, this pen is nice. Ooh, look at that. Look at that laying down that nice ink. Nice. Part of me kind of sits there and says, well, they're the biggest monster on the block, and we used to be the biggest monster on the block. And even with 25 frickin' years under our belt, we still couldn't beat them up in like 5 years worth of DPCCing. So it's like, wow, that's impressive,
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of shocked that that's the way that went down. Saving, not touching the controls. Okay. So, yep. Sadly, at 11 o'clock, I'm switching gears. So I'm going to go work on a different project starting at 11. So I can't actually continue on with this one until later on tonight, which is what I'll do. And I'll just run the colors on it. It won't take long to do colors on this. That's one of the nice things about cell shading color. It's really not that hard once you have a procedure.
I probably will be working on this Venom still because it's taking a lot longer than I was thinking.
Yeah, but it's lovely. I like it.
Thank you.
I mean, it's gross, but that's Venom.
It's supposed to be. I don't like these cutesy Venoms that I see all the time.
Yeah. God. It is kind of silly that some people come up with like the weirdest crap. Like cutifying stuff, which I mean, I guess I shouldn't I shouldn't complain, I guess. That's not like it's a bad thing, really. It's just interesting.
I just don't like when some of that cutesy stuff leaks into the mainstream and it kind of becomes the norm.
Yeah.
So like Venom doesn't look as threatening anymore, even on the normal comics, not even like just a cutesy comic. And that's kind of what I've seen. Then again, I haven't really paid attention to the comic market too much. I haven't been able to afford to buy books.
Right. So, are you said you were winding down the publishing side?
Yeah, we had to actually shut Aya down.
Is it not coming back?
Not the studio part. IaCon is different, so that'll come back. But
right, but
no, we had to let it go, unfortunately.
There is clearly a POD function coming out of Amazon.
Oh, print on demand?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I did that cover for Airship 27 and had a physical copy here by Thursday. I turned the cover in Sunday, and there was a physical here by Thursday.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm pretty sure they're doing a print on demand.
Yeah, they have to be. I ordered 3. A buddy of mine ordered 1 copy. And so I know of 4 copies that are in the wild. So it's it's a thing. So I'm just saying that I can understand where you're coming from. I think that if Amazon's in this market, it's so hard to beat that. I mean, frankly, if that's the case, I can get an Amazon account and just start putting Bellatrix comics directly to Amazon. You can order a copy yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually thought about doing the digital route.
So I don't know. Well, it's not digital. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Is it's that's
I know. What I'm thinking of doing is like an e-comic essentially through Amazon.
Right.
Because Clip Studio will let you do that. I don't know if you knew that.
No. We'll have to. There are so many things that this thing will do, and I don't even know. I mean, I can't even kind of grasp the concept of all the things that it can do. So, anyway, okay. Well, it's now 11:02. You're going to work on Venom for the rest of the day. I can tell.
Yeah. I'll post it when I'm done.
Yeah, and I will like it when I see it. I try to like everything. I don't always. You know what's really weird? I have the darndest time with Instagram liking things, and it's not anything with the program or anything. It's some like weird block in my brain. I'll sit there and I'll scroll through all the pictures on Instagram. Oh, that's really cool. That's really cool. And then about 10 minutes in, I'll be like, crap, I should have been hitting like, you know? So you can tell whether your picture hit me before or after that 10-minute like realization.
Yeah, I think there was one time you liked my Carnage, but then you missed the Spider-Man for a couple hours.
Right? It doesn't even make sense. It's not even logical.
Which, by the way, my Spider-Man is sold.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. We're getting there. We're getting there. All of us are getting there, just slowly but surely. We plod along.
Well, to be fair, it was more of a trade. I had one of my buddies hit me up. He's doing some work for me anyway, and he was like, hey, how about we just do a trade? Yeah.
That works.
Spider-Man is yours.
Yeah, I'm trying not to, I personally am trying not to trade anymore. I don't have space for stuff. So I'm really having a hard time when I get your artwork. It's like, yay, it's Raph's art, and it ends up in a drawer, and then I feel really bad because I'm like, it didn't deserve to be in a drawer. Like I got one of those pictures that Terry had that I got for the RTG Christmas thing. And now it's behind something. It's on the wall, but it's behind a thing. So it's like, it's not helping. I've got to find a new home for it because it ended up behind the wall. But I mean, part of it is that I have an 11-year-old and he wants his artwork up everywhere. And that makes logical sense. And, that's has priority over with my wife. It has priority over all of you guys. She doesn't know you very well, Although, to be fair,
my stuff on the wall.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, she knows you. So there is that. But like Terry, she never met. So she doesn't know Terry from Adam. So she's like, why are we laying this up? So it's like, it's all good. It's a good piece. She's like, it is a good piece. I just don't know who did it. So it's like, well, it's funny because it's like there's nothing really wrong with what she's saying. It's not like she's being mean or anything. I totally get it.
Well, comic book fans will hang up anybody's art.
It's true.
Somebody who's just kind of a fan because they're spouses, they want to know the person. So I get it.
Yeah. I mean, like she agrees with some of the things that I get that have a statement. Like I have a rather hysterical picture, which is Deadpool in Carbonite. So, he's in the Carbonite thing, but he's doing with 2 thumbs up, which is hysterical because you can just imagine Deadpool being dropped into the pit and going, yeah, as he gets frozen. But that she likes because it makes her laugh. That's a funny thing. Cracks her up every time. And, she's a geek. I married a geek. So, all of the things, especially if it makes a Deadpool Star Wars reference, that's a crossover that's hysterical to her. So I don't want to move on to the next thing. The next thing I got to do is NDK. So I'm like, bleh, I don't want to. Which is why I'm dragging my feet. Because I had the board meeting yesterday, and all of my division people, because I'm a director, they all asked me all these questions, and I had to get answers. And so I have all these answers, and the next thing I had to do is call the head director and ask her because I missed one of them. One of them sent their email to the wrong email, and so I just now saw it, and I'm like, all of those questions I could answer with just her, so I don't really need to get the board together for it. I can just ask her. She's got all those answers. So it's not a big deal, but I had to wait for her to get up, and now she's up, and now it's 11. So I can go hit her up for that stuff and go, hey, I got all these new questions now. So
right, cool. Well, I'll let you go.
Yeah, as I say, I don't want to go. I'd rather be with you, but got no choice in the matter. Work calls, duty calls. I hope you enjoy doing the rest of your Venom piece. It's a very pretty piece.
Thank you.
And I will talk to you later. You can join me tomorrow if you want. I'll be drawing on Bellatrix Rising tomorrow. So
yeah, let me see what's going on here, see how Christina's meetings are going, and if I got the time, yeah.
No pressure. There's no pressure. I just enjoy having you. That's all.
Cool. So, well, thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome, my friend. And I'll see all of you guys who, I know that Brent will watch this later on. So, hi, Brent. But he's going to watch it in replay. So,
nice.
So anyway, and for everybody else, keep your eyes on the stars. Bye. Computer, good night.